Now in the previous video, I forgot to show you something real quick. Is that I told you to type in these equations into the decimal calculator. I should mention that there's a little symbol in the bottom corner about down here that looks like that. If you click it, this whole keyboard will show up, and in it is the square root button. Okay, and that's how you would be typing the square root in here. And I just want to mention that real quick in case you didn't know that. And so next, let's look at problem 63. So problem 63 says 3 over log 2 of 10 minus log x minus 9 equals to log 44. Now notice that there is a slight difference in this problem compared to the others. Is that we have log, and there's nothing written down, that means base 10, and then suddenly there's a log 2 popped up. But being that excuse me, being that we have this handy formula right here, okay, log 2, we can easily convert log base 2 of 10, that is just log 10 over log 2. So it's not a problem, right? We can just punch it into the calculator. And as a result, we will ignore that, okay, and continue our job. So this whole thing then equal to, we'll isolate this thing right here, and to do that, we'll move it to this side, because there's a negative sign here, and you don't have to, but I like to keep my stuff positive. It's just a personal favorite. So we'll write down log of x minus 9 on this side, okay, and then move this thing over there, become minus. So we'll first copy this thing down, log 2 10, and then this thing move over, becomes a minus log 44. Okay, and then and then to overcome the log, then let me see, what kind of answer do we need? I think we might need a, what did the book say? Let me read it. For this problem, we want a solve for x, and then let me see what kind of answer that's expected of us. Okay, this is 63. Okay. Let me think. Well, let's just do this, okay, and not think too hard about it. We need to get rid of this log on this side, okay? Now, to get rid of the log, we have to, let's see, right here, okay? To get rid of a log, that is, if we want log b of y equals to y, to cancel it out, we need to stick b at the bottom, so to raise the whole thing to the power. If you do that, that is, if you write down a big 10 down here, okay, that is 10 to the power all this stuff. This is the same as just x minus 9. And that's from this formula right here. That is, if you have the same b, right, b to the power of log by is y itself. In other words, b and log b cancels itself out. Cancel themselves out. So we'll do that. And because of that, we have to write down a giant 10 to all this power. That way we're fair on both sides. So then x minus 9 is equal to this thing, okay? So let's do that. And then after that, then we put the 9 on the other side, and that will give us x will be equal to this thing plus 9. It should be the answer. So let's punch this into the calculator, okay? In fact, I think I will show you how it's done. Now this sounds like, do I have enough space so you can see it? Okay, let's see. I will type in 10, okay, raised to the power, where's my raised power? Right here. Raised to the power, let's do parentheses, okay, because we have a whole bunch of stuff. So write down parentheses, 3 divided by now, log 10 over log 2 is log 10 divided by log 2, okay? And so we need another parentheses. This is the second one. I'll write it down here. 2b. Okay, so here's another set of parentheses. Just the, so 3 in there is divided by log 10, okay, over log 2. Where's my log? Where's my log 10? Oh, sorry. I need to get back because after I did type log 10, there should be a close parentheses, see? Because, yeah, that's log of 10, and then divided by log, where's my log? Log of 2, close parentheses. Okay, so that's 3 over log 10 by log 2, and then we need to close another parentheses. And let's see, yeah, because the first parentheses is just the log 2, see, down here. And again, I'm following this formula right now. Log 2, 10, base 2 of 10 is log 10 divided by log 2. Doesn't matter if you use natural log or any other log, it all works. Okay, so we're using the regular log right now because we're using it in the other places. Okay, so that's in, and then minus, let's see, continue typing. So minus log of 44. Okay, close parentheses. The first close parentheses is just for the log itself, because the log function in my calculator always have parentheses. So I have one close parentheses. So then I have to close it again, because the second close parentheses, that is this whole thing. So that is about done. That is the whole thing is, let's look at it from beginning, is 10 to the power 3 divided by parentheses, okay, log 10 divided by log 2, which is log 10 to log base 10 of, log base 2 of 10, and then we need to type and close parentheses, okay, so there's and then we do minus, and then log of 44, close parentheses for 44, and then the final close parentheses for the whole deal. So I have 2 close parentheses. Let's see if this works. That equal to, nope, it's not, my calculator is not happy. So let me check to see if I typed in anything wrong. Oh, fine. I think I typed in 1 parentheses less. So sometimes we're typing this stuff into the calculator. You do have, it's better if you do a part at a time. That way when you don't type in too much stuff and then get stuck with mistakes. So what I have here is, let me show you here. I have 3 divided by, okay, log 10 log 10 and then divided by log 2. So I only have that part, log 10 divided by log 2, right? And so 10 to the power 3 divided by log 10 over log 2. Okay, we will, let's see, do I have it? Yes, okay, all right. So that does give me some kind of an answer. Okay, so that's just this part. And then I need to add in it the minus log 44, okay? So I want to minus, I'll type in minus log 44. I typed it in close parentheses. There's a final close parentheses and I have to type it in there. Okay, let's see. Okay, now that is much better. This is equal to 2 over 11. This is 10 to, this whole chunk right here is 2 over 11. Okay, so that is equal to, write the equal sign. This is equal to 2 over 11. And then this is x minus 9. So then, let me see. Give me a second here. Actually, I think it's right. So x equal to 9. X then equal to 9 and 2 over 11. That's all. That's 111, okay? Which is what the book says. Because 9 times 11, 99 times plus 2 is 111. That is correct. Now the reason I showed you how to do that is because you need to learn how to do that sometime. I know that sounds complicated. Now other math teachers might tell you to do this first, do like a piece at a time, you know, so that is easier. But I feel like if you practice doing this until you get it right, then you can keep it all in your keep it all together. And because, well, sooner or later you're going to learn how to do this, whole chunk instead of just a piece at a time. But if you feel more if it makes you feel more comfortable, do just this at a time, and then it might give you some kind of a number, like I don't know what. Okay, so some kind of thing with a decimal point. Then you write it down, and then do this, and then subtract this, and write it down, and then do 10 to the power of all that stuff, and write out the answer. If you do that, it's unlikely that you're going to get a nice fraction like this. Most likely you will end up with something like excuse me, with something like a bunch of decimal number with the decimal points, and like 9 point whatever, that sort of thing, which is okay. Either one works. But well, in any case, the thing is, the reason I was not able to get it at first is because I noticed that I was missing some parentheses. Well, actually, it doesn't even look like I'm missing any parentheses. I don't know. Let's. But the calculator, using the calculator is quite important. So, yeah, that doesn't look like I'm missing any parentheses. I'm not sure why the first time I typed it in, it was different. Okay, let me check something. Actually, I think I'll try it again. Now remember, log 210, this number right here is log 10 divided by log 2. And you just put this whole fraction in parentheses and stick it at the bottom. I want to take the time to try it again, okay? Just because the calculator is, a lot of my students have trouble with typing stuff properly in the calculator. And you have to do a problem like this is a bit hard, but I think if you understand it, once you work through it and get it to work and understand it, then it makes things a lot better. So anyway, let's try this again, okay? I will have, let's see, yeah. Okay, I'll have 10 raised to the power. Okay, let's see, first parentheses, okay, that is 3 divided by parentheses, because this is all the stuff on the bottom will go in the parentheses, okay. That is, let's see, log 10, which require close parentheses. Let's see, log 10, close parentheses, divided by log 2. All right, close parentheses. That's just the close parentheses for the log 2, right? And then I'll put another close parentheses. That is for the fraction. That is, this whole thing is in the fraction, okay? Fraction parentheses. And then finally, I'll stop here. We'll just stop here. So we're doing only this part. So the final close parentheses describes it closes this one. We started this one, and that's for the 10 to the power. And that should work. Yep, see, that does come out with 8. All right, yeah, that's better. So next, we will go into the parentheses, because we closed it right here. So to keep going, we'll go inside the parentheses, okay, the last one. And then add this part in there, which is minus, okay, minus log 44, and then close parentheses. I must have forgotten that last one, see, because each log has its own parentheses, and then that's the final close parentheses, which I already have in. So then, okay, and so that is the entire thing. I'll move the calculator, let's see, a little closer so that you can see the whole thing. It will go to the beginning, 10 raised to the power, okay, 3 divided by parentheses, log 10 divided by log 2, each in its own parentheses, then close the parentheses for the fraction, this one right here. Okay, and then we can move on to the next thing, which is keep moving. Then the rest we have to do is log 40 minus log 44, which has its own, log 44 has its own parentheses, and then we close the very last parentheses, and that should do it. So please spend the time to do this, okay? I mean, it's very important that you use the calculator efficiently, and it might take some use to, and a lot of times it really has to do with, did you keep all the parentheses straight? That's all. And so, so please practice this, right? I mean, it's worth your trouble, even though it seems a bit tedious at first that we are doing all this. But if you choose to do it individually, you know, you figure I'll just do this, write down the answer, and then subtract this, write down the answer, and then to do 10 to the power, then you don't feel like you're doing an entire chunk of, you know, like you're swallowing an entire sandwich in one bite. If you rather do that, there's nothing wrong with that. That is good too. But still, even then, please practice this a little bit, because it gets your brain used to where to put the parentheses. Basically, that's yeah, that's about. So that's about it for this problem. So let's move on to the next problem, which is okay, let me write it down, 75. So next, let's look at problem 75. Let me think of something. All right, so 75 says log of negative 0.7x minus 9 equal to 1 plus 5 log 5. All right, I guess that's about it. And that should be that. And let's do this. Now this problem is already set up, right? I mean, the x is on this side, there's a log here. So the only thing, there's no x here, so that's just all numbers. And so we are going to pull the exact same trick as we do here. We'll slap the 10 on the bottom, which will cancel out the log next to the x. Okay, that's the goal. Is we need to remove this log, and to remove it, we'll write down a giant 10 down here. So 10 and log will cancel out each other, like here. See, if you have a y here, you have a log base 10, and here's 10. So together, it will become y. So this whole, in other words, 10 and log will cancel out each other. So we'll write down a giant 10 down here, and we'll do the same thing over here. Be sure to put this stuff in parentheses, okay? And so this side then, because 10 and log canceled out each other, we will only have negative 0.7x minus 9. And that equals to whatever that is. And we are going to, again, type that thing into the calculator, except this one is much better. Let me see. Okay, I have a bunch of junk here. So let's type it in just like last time. Now to type it in, we have 10 raised to the power, parentheses. Yeah, is there a parenthesis? No. Yeah, raised to the power 1 plus 5 log 5. So 1 plus 5 log 5, close parentheses. That's only the close parentheses for the log, right? We need another close parentheses. That's for the entire power. See, it has an open one and a closed one. So we have 2 open ones and 2 closed ones, right? Yeah, I think so. So that should be it. So let's punch that in. What does it say? 1 plus 5 log 5. Okay, it says a big number, which is what? Is that right? That looks 10 to the power 1 plus 5 log 5. Yeah, that's, well, whatever. Let's write this down, okay? And then so that equals to, we'll call this big number, we'll call it b, okay? I don't want to write it down because it's too long, and we should not write down any big number if we can help it. But we'll just figure that b stands for this number, which is 31250, and we'll only write that once, 31250, right? And so then continuing, we need to solve for b. That means let's move x to this side. It becomes positive. 0.7x equal to minus 9 minus b. Okay, b is that thing. And then, so x then equal to minus 9 minus b divided by 0.7. Let me see. Is that the right answer? Let's see. That's 75 equals, yeah, 75 equals a weird mess. So let's do that. So this thing, this thing will multiply it, will make it minus, okay? There it says minus b. So let's times -1. Oops, that is not going to work. Never mind. We'll type it in again. So -9, okay? And then minus the b is 31250. Okay, I have -9 minus b, 31250. I forgot to put parentheses in it. So I need to put parentheses in it. And then I move the cursor to the front and add the parentheses that I should have gotten before and didn't. Okay, and then I'll go back, move there. So my cursor is back, and then divided by, continuing, we're dividing by 0.7. Okay, you don't have to type in a 0 when you do 0.7. Yeah, and then that should be it. So x equal to, my calculator gave a fraction. I don't know why. You can push a button that switch it to a decimal point, which is 44655. Yep, that is exactly what the book says, and that is the right answer. So that should also be the end of this this section. Now, I want to talk about problem 63 a little more. The reason is because the book didn't say to use the calculator to do this, right? It said to use the calculator to do this, but not this, which means that the book expects us to do this problem without much help of a calculator. There was nothing wrong with what we did. I think that was a good practice to use the calculator more effectively, but let's see what the book expected us to do, okay? Because I was looking at this more carefully, then I realized that there's a 10 here, okay? And this log is base 10. So we can rewrite this thing. What is this? This thing is the same as, we'll just redo only this part over here. So 3 over log 210, okay, base 2 of 10, that's equal to 3 divided by, okay, log 10, why am I holding this? Okay, log 10 divided by log 2, right? The 2 is too small. I mean log 2. 2 is big because now I'm switching to the base 10 log, which means you don't have to write the 10 down here. Now this is following this this rule right here, okay? Log of 210 is log 10 divided by log 2. All right, so then when you divide, this is the main division line. This is just a fraction. So when 3 is divided by a fraction, you invert and multiply. And so the end result is 3 times log 2, and divided by log 10. And that is that's what this thing is. Now the trick here is to notice that the log 10, base 10, and to 10, when the two numbers are the same, okay, when you have a log BB situation, if B, regardless of what B is, and then it equals to 1. So the denominator here, this part is just 1. So this thing is only 1, okay? Oops. So if this part is only 1, then we can, well, ignore it basically, like it doesn't exist. And then so then the whole thing, then we can continue to do this math. We have, we'll move this thing to this side, becomes minus log 44. So we have minus log 44, and move this over here to be positive. No reason, I just like stuff positive, but generally speaking, you need to isolate anything that has a term that has x in it and throw everything else to the other side so that we can pull some stunt, okay? Because our goal here is to isolate x, okay? Kick everything else away from it if possible. So we have this thing, and remember, this is 3 log 2 minus log 44. And what does that equal to? We can now combine them, because 3 log 2, and this is the same as 1, right? So we'll just ignore like it doesn't exist. So 3 log 2 will kick the 3 up here, okay? And combine these two terms. So it's log 2 to the power 3. And then, so let's, yeah. So we have log to the 2 to the power 3 minus, minus log of 44. And what does that become? That becomes a subtraction of log of 2 items. Now, when you have log of 2 items subtracted, that's the same as the division, right? So we'll translate it into 1 log. So we have only 1 log left. So this becomes log of 8, okay, 2 to the 3rd power divided by 44. And that is equal to log of x minus 9. So this side hasn't changed. So what we have here, then now we have log and log. Is both sides are the same. Both sides have 1 log in front of it, okay? And so now we can say that 8 over 44 is the same as x minus 9. We couldn't say that before because stuff is split up into various other logs. You know, there's not the same thing on each side of the equation. But when it is, then we can say that equals to that. In other words, we can say that then we'll simplify this. This is 2 over 11, right? Which is what we figured out before, by the way. 2 over 11 is equal to x minus 9. So then that's how we got the answer, x equal to 9 and 2/11. That is the answer. So that is how, so if we did this, then we didn't have to go through that big calculating section. But it's still, I say that practicing the calculator, however, I find that is actually rather advantageous, because this problem just happened to have a log 10 in there. What if this isn't 10? What if it had been 9.9? Then this method wouldn't have worked, and life would have been, well, you end up having to do the calculator trick I showed you. Okay, it's basically pure luck that it happens that it disappeared into 1, which makes it easy for us to combine stuff together. But either way works. Okay, and you can choose either way to do it, and well, as long as you get the right answer, well, then everything should be okay.